Welcome to KNN 360 Degrees News. In a significant escalation of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Ukrainian forces have launched a bold offensive deep into Russian territory, penetrating up to 30 kilometers. This marks a pivotal moment in the nearly 18-month-long war, with fighting concentrated in Russia's Kursk region, raising fears of a broader conflict. Kiev's objective is to disrupt Russian logistics, weaken Moscow's military capabilities, and divert resources from ongoing battles in eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian officials view this offensive as a crucial step toward forcing Russia to negotiate, hoping that the Kremlin will prioritize its own defense over attacking Ukraine. Moscow, however, has vowed to repel the incursion, reinforcing its forces in the border region and declaring a state of emergency. The Kremlin has accused Ukraine of terrorism and targeting civilians, allegations that Kiev strongly denies. The humanitarian impact of the offensive is already severe, with tens of thousands of civilians forced to evacuate their homes and border areas. There are growing concerns about a potential refugee crisis, as critical infrastructure, including energy facilities, has been damaged, leading to power outages and service disruptions. The global community is watching with alarm. Western nations have expressed support for Ukraine's right to self-defense, but have urged both sides to de-escalate tensions. The conflict's potential to expand beyond Ukraine and Russia's borders, drawing in other countries, is a serious concern. As fighting intensifies, the world watches anxiously, uncertain of the outcome of this new phase of the war. The implications for Ukraine, Russia, and the broader European security landscape are profound. The Ukrainian counteroffensive into Russia is not just a local conflict. Its effects are felt worldwide. The risk of escalation, particularly a direct confrontation between NATO and Russia, could lead to catastrophic consequences. Diplomatic efforts are intensifying to prevent such a scenario. Economically, the war has caused significant damage to both Ukraine and Russia, with global repercussions. Energy prices have fluctuated, affecting consumers and businesses worldwide. The conflict has disrupted supply chains, leading to shortages of essential goods in some regions. Additionally, the massive expenditure on military aid to Ukraine has strained the budgets of many Western nations. The humanitarian crisis continues to worsen. Millions of Ukrainians have been displaced, seeking refuge either within the country or abroad. Conditions for those remaining in war-torn areas are dire, with civilian casualties rising. International aid organizations are struggling to meet the growing needs. Geopolitically, the war has deepened divisions among nations. Some countries have rallied behind Ukraine, while others have remained neutral or supported Russia, straining diplomatic relations and creating new geopolitical fault lines. As the situation unfolds, the world watches with a mix of hope and concern. The possibility of a negotiated settlement remains uncertain, but it is vital to prevent the conflict from escalating into a global catastrophe. While the geopolitical and economic impacts of the Russia-Ukraine conflict are profound, the human cost is immeasurable. The war has triggered a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. Millions of Ukrainians have been forced to flee, facing challenges such as lack of shelter, food, healthcare, and essential services. For those remaining in conflict zones, the situation is even more perilous. Civilians are caught in the crossfire, with countless casualties reported daily. Access to humanitarian aid is often restricted, and critical infrastructure, including hospitals and schools, has been severely damaged. The psychological trauma is immense, with many suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and other mental health issues. Addressing this humanitarian crisis requires a concerted effort from the international community. Aid agencies are working tirelessly, but the scale of the problem is overwhelming. A ceasefire is essential to ensure the safe delivery of aid. Long-term recovery and reconstruction will be crucial for rebuilding Ukraine and restoring the lives of its people. The war in Ukraine is a complex crisis with far-reaching consequences. From the experiences of civilians to the geopolitical shifts reshaping the world order, the impact is profound and lasting. As the situation evolves, staying informed is imperative. KNN 360 Degrees News is committed to providing comprehensive and unbiased coverage of this critical issue. By subscribing to our channel, you'll receive the latest updates, in-depth analysis, and expert commentary on the war in Ukraine. Your support helps us continue bringing you the stories that matter. Thank you for watching. Subscribe now and stay